Noyo Mathis is a band from Portsmouth on the south coast of the United Kingdom. Formed in 2012, the group consists of 3 members, drummer Dan England and 2 brothers, on bass Jamie Saville and on lead vocals and guitar Toby Saville. The band blend a variety of styles, drawing on a wide range of influences from indie, post-rock, emo and math rock. We met with them to talk about the past, present and future of Noyo Mathis, from the origins of the band to the influences, philosophy and motivations of each member, as well as discussing their current body of work, including the 3 EPs, Tethers, released in 2012, Ages in 2013 and Endure in 2014. We also discussed their upcoming debut album, We Become Who We've Always Been. This film is a document, a snapshot of the band as they were in time during the autumn of 2016.
No one's getting out alive. No one's getting out alive, I swear to God.
to start with a question I actually do usually hate, and whenever it pops up online, whatever, it's like, oh God, what? But with you guys, I think it is a valid question. The band name, Noyo Mathis, unusual by most standards. What's the story behind the band name?
Well, basically, we were all big, or at least you're a fan as well. We're all a fan of a TV show called Fringe, and basically what happened was I was in Dubai and I was getting really jet lagged. I lost it, and I was watching Fringe for about like every episode, like completely. And I think it was at that point we were getting that weird sort of like kind of weird sort of dizzy thing, and I was watching the show, and they came up with a Noyo County on it. And
it's a fictional county in Washington State in the show.
And a Detective Mathis. And basically, I don't know why, but suddenly the words kind of came into my head, and I sort of suggested it. I think we were not sure about that at the start, but
yeah,
kind of,
it's just I like it. It's just like an odd name. Like it really stands out.
It was almost like a placeholder at first, but then we thought we warmed to it.
It kind of fits.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to say, so you didn't know that it was always going to be the one?
No,
not necessarily. No.
We kind of we thought we had it. Our first gig was coming up and we didn't have a name, so we thought let's use it, and then it kind of just fit because it's this like incredibly odd name and it kind of can kind of mean anything, so it allowed us to just. Like it didn't feel like it was tied to any genre. Like you can get some band names that just you hear that name, you're like, oh, that's a post rock band, or that's and it didn't feel like anything like that. So it made sense. Like if we find down the line we want to become more post rock or more math rock or something, we can do that and not have to worry about changing anything.
Yeah. Were there any alternatives then?
I think it was Old Swallows, wasn't it?
No, I think you're just making that up.
No, it was
we had
Old Souls. That was really
which is just now sounds like a bad hardcore
pub
band.
rock.
Sounds like a R&B band that have aged too much.
And I think Our Swift is Speed, which
Yeah,
is a Death Cab quote.
I never heard this.
Which is, I think
You guys kept this from me.
I think I told Jamie, and Jamie went no, so I just went okay.
That's like a first band name.
Yeah. So it was just, it kind of made sense just to have this weird name.
Okay, so to reflect, I suppose, on the semi-ridiculous nature of actually playing in a band, what attracted you to playing music in the first place? And I suppose to Jamie and Toby specifically as brothers, did you decide to get together and play together? Or was it a case of, I want what he's having kind of thing?
No, it was... I started playing guitar when I was about 10 or so. And then I really wanted to play in a band. And so I had a friend who was a drummer, but I didn't know any bass players. So we my parents just kind of went, "What about Jamie and bass?" And
at the same time I was diagnosed with a thing called dyspraxia. So it's like many different things, but one of the main things is got some coordination problems. So I have a struggle especially I struggled kind of really kind of doing a lot of sort of things. Like I was fine, normal stuff was fine, but like I could do a lot of improvement, and my dad thought, we'll get him a bass and he'll probably play it for like 2 weeks and then sort of throw away, or probably nothing be too important. But I don't know why I just studied. It was one of those things I could sort of do, like I could sort of separate myself and be able to play both.
And help build up hand-eye coordination.
And it helped, build up the hand-eye coordination.
So so it's kind of just like, I needed a bass player.
Sure, yeah.
But then it also ended up being this really helpful tool. And then so Jamie and I played in bands for years. We always kind of stuck with it, and kind of we went through a couple of iterations, but then it's just kind of really cathartic as a way to. That's why I like doing it. That's why I've kept doing it to the point where I'm still doing it now, 14 years later.
And Dan, I suppose when I listen to you play drums, you can tell that you've got a real love of the instrument, and you have such a unique style. It's just genuinely such a joy to watch you play it, and it really kind of, you've got such a sort of fluid approach, and it really serves the songs. Why did you want to play drums, first of all?
Well, it's kind of a similar thing, really. It was that I was getting together with people in school, friends of mine, that we're like, typical school age thing of, let's start a band. We don't play any instruments. What are we going to play? Like, not literally drawing straws, but metaphorical straws. I got the short
That
one,
was a
which
band
was
name.
drums. I don't know why, but that was like the last resort. Everyone's like, no, let's all learn. We want to play Guitar Heroes, that sort of guys. And I just picked it up and started playing. But I took lessons I think I went to maybe 3 or 4 lessons with this guy who was the most unbearable person you could ever be taught music by. He was there was something about him, just his personality, I hated so much that I was like, no, I'm just going to teach myself.
Yeah, I get
so
that.
I did the thing of listening to records, learning them, and just moving on from there.
Sure.
And I kind of wing it. It's a lot of different influences coming in, I think, and I kind of incorporate a bit of everything into playing.
I think
That's maybe why.
having a teacher who puts you off playing in the first year, because with my first teacher I think I had him for like maybe a month, maybe a bit longer, but he was his actual name was Jack Daniels, and he just smelled of Jack Daniels. He was like a really
Latent alcoholic.
Yeah, he was not a good, and he just after that I just put the guitar down for like 6 months, like I'm never playing this, I'm never doing this again, and then for some reason picked it up.
So I had the opposite. I pushed myself based on that. I was like, I don't want to be taught by someone who's entirely arrogant, who halfway through the lesson takes over the kit and then plays more than I do somehow. And it's like, no, I don't want this guy. I want to just do it my own way. So that's the way I applied myself to it.
Did you have lessons as well, Jamie?
I did. I quite liked my teacher, but I kind of, I don't want to think, but I got bored of trying to. I kind of feel, especially with music, so I don't think I'll score anything with that. I kind of felt I didn't want to learn too much because I wanted that kind of creative part sort of still there. Like I didn't
learn
want
the foundation and then
I kind of want to know what the things, the important parts I need to know. But if I learned too much, I found then that kind of creative side goes. It's like
kind of stifles you a little bit.
Yeah, like like if you learn that there's only so many different versions of chords you can go in different ways, you kind of then lose the idea. Well, then what's the point of me doing it? Because then I know I've already copied these 4 songs from that band, or like, and it just kind of like the whole song where you play like the same 4 chords, plays like 138 songs.
Yeah,
and it's terrifying to know, but you never think about that when you listen to songs. I kind of just wanted that kind of effect, really.
Okay. So, how did Noyo Mathis as a band begin? What were early sessions like?
Sorry, you still going?
No, carry on. Sorry.
Didn't mean to cut you off. Jamie and I were in a band together before with 2 other people, and we very quickly in that band kind of realised like Jamie and I wanted to do the kind of stuff that we do in Noyo, and the other 2 people didn't.
Actually, no, wait, that's a lie. We
Big fact check.
No, because the thing was, we actually didn't want to do what we actually, the reason why the band split is because 2 of them wanted to do kind of math rock and do complicated stuff, and Terry and I wanted to do kind of straight sort of 4/4 music.
Literally what I was just
Look
saying.
how well that
And
turned out.
That turned out that way, didn't it?
So basically, we were in a band together, but then for a few gigs, the drummer broke his wrist. So we knew Dan
Broke his elbow. I remember this. I should know this.
This is outrageous.
Fact check.
The story has so many holes in it.
So he broke his elbow. So Dan
recount.
then like basically filled in for a few shows, and when the band broke up, like we basically thought, who do we know plays drums? And then our first thing was, we should text Dan and see if he wants to play in a band. And then like a week later to the day, we had a band practice with Dan, and it took a couple of sessions to really kind of warm into it, and then when we did, it was just like everything clicked and everything sort of.
So, did you have any reference points? Did you have like an idea of, okay, this is what we want to do when we get in there?
Kind of, yeah. It was more like we kind of wanted. Originally, when Jamie and I were talking about it, we wanted to turn it kind of into more, it's like straight kind of just like big rock songs, kind of not like stadium rock, but like just kind of not.
Could have been the next Nickelback, Toby.
Not be quite so like, just because the other 2 guys like insanely talented musicians, but they were like doing that thing of like just overly playing every chord and every.
Sure.
Whereas I was listening to a lot of stuff that's like the guitar player basically only plays like 2 notes for a whole song, and I just wanted to get into that kind of thing. So it was that like our reference was to kind of just pull everything back, make it louder, but make it stripped back when we could, and have points where it was like very quiet and very, very stripped back. That was the kind of idea of what we wanted. And I feel like it took us a while to get there. But the earlier stuff is too like us like trying to work each other out and be like twiddly and interesting. But then
the first demos were kind of like the first songs we discarded so many songs for those first, just because it was like we were getting the chemistry down, weren't we? Really, it was like we were trying to figure each other out, figure out where we wanted to go. We had different. You guys had more of a similar point of view, but I think I had a slightly different idea of what I was getting into.
So kind of.
Just then it sort of just clicked. It was like flicking a switch,
molding the thing to see where we were going with it.
Sure. So with that in mind, then, how do we, the audience, get a Noyo Mathis song? Is it fully formed songs that come into the practice room, jams?
No, I think from what I can recall, there's only been one song that we've ever written where I wrote like 60% of it outside of the practice room, and within 6 months we stopped playing that song. It wasn't good enough. All of our songs, every now and again I'll come in with like a bare bones riff, but most of the time they come in, the riff originates in the room as we're playing. So I won't even come in with anything prepared, and like none of us will. And then as we're messing around, it can take us a while. We've gone like the whole sessions without actually playing any songs. We're just like constantly playing little snippets, and then something will click, and then usually most of the song kind of forms in one big go. So like by the end of a practice, we'll start with nothing, and then come out with like 80% of the song, and it's just the rest is just like refining it. It just kind of.
It does sound cliche to say it's like an organic process, but I think it truly is, because it's. I think that we pour so much into it as well. It's like three personalities. The three personalities just poured into every single song that we write, and the ones that make it past like the demo stage, basically, or even if they even get that far. So we discard so much just because it's like it's not right.
Yeah,
this
it kind of
right.
we'll scrap very quickly. We won't. It's this weird thing of like we kind of know between us, without saying anything, which song, when a riff starts, we kind of know that how it's going to go and if it's going to be a full song. It's a weird kind of process, but
sure.
Yeah.
So are there any red lines like in the room then? Like, are you conscious of not doing things a certain way? I mean, there's a great balance between that kind of pop sentiment and the proggier mathy elements. Do you decide where the line is, or do you think that's too poppy, that's too that way, or...
Yeah, I think in the sense that one of us will go, should we try? What about if we knock out a bar here or something? Or it's like this would be cool if it were in a weird time signature, and then the rest of us or one of us will go, no, that's not right.
There isn't really like a set thing, but it's just again, we kind of know each other's styles so well that we can kind of. It's not necessarily if something's too poppy or too. Like if it feels too poppy or too mathy or something, but if it just feels too forced, you can have, sometimes you just feel like you can feel the other person like just feels like they want to write a chorus or want to write like a cool riff, and you can just something about that can be sensed. Like there have been times when I come up with a thing, I was like, oh, I think this is a great chorus, and the other two are just like, no, it sounds like you really wanted to write like that kind of chorus, which doesn't feel natural for the song or natural for like the moment.
I think probably the best way to describe it is nothing we do ends up being intentional. It's always something that happens by it's chance, it's happenstance. It's always that we stumble across something and it's like it's not even a formula. Like there's nothing calculated about it. I don't think it's there. That's when it starts to feel calculated and when it starts to feel like predictable. And we fall into something that it'd be like this is a pattern that's emerging or something. It's like this it feels too calculated to work as a song. It's got to be organic. It's got to be natural.
There's one song called Torn in Two, which is off our last EP, and we had the riff and the verse for about a year before we finished the song, because we never knew how to get to the next bit, and I would write things outside and then bring them in, and they would never work. And then one time we just like played it over and over again. And then one time we all just instinctively knew like the next bit. And then from there we finished that whole song that session. it's a weird thing of like every time we ever tried that to like finish that song, it always felt really forced, and then we just left it alone and let it kind of simmer by itself, and then we sort of knew like how to finish it after that. So kind of it's just really just like chance and feeling more than anything.